What's up? It's Susie
and Todd
from Hey Grill Hey, and today we're bringing you Pellet Grill 101. We're going to walk you through the basic components of a pellet grill, some of their strengths, some of their weaknesses, and some of the fun accessories that we're seeing on the market these days that you might want to keep your eye on. Let's do it.
Okay, so years and years and years ago, we got our first pellet smoker, and we had no idea how it ran.
No.
And I wish this video would have existed, so that's what we're doing this for.
It might have prevented that first fire, actually.
Pop!
Everybody was fine.
You know the combustion pop that you've all experienced, right?
Not if they've never cooked on a pellet grill before.
That's true.
Okay, so we're going to talk about pellet grills. We have several different brands out here. I think we've probably owned 20 pellet grills over the decade plus that we've been doing this, and more than 20?
Yeah.
Probably more than 20. And despite all of their differences and all the little extras that each one have, the basic components of pellet grills are the same. So Todd's gonna walk you through the basic components that every pellet grill has that makes them operate the way that they do. And I think this base level of knowledge is gonna be super helpful when you start cooking on a pellet grill in your own backyard. Or if you ever run into any issues, it'll make it so much easier to diagnose what's going wrong.
So every pellet grill will have a compartment that houses the pellets.
The hopper.
The hopper.
We say, get to the hopper.
So on Smoking Brothers, it's up front. So it's the wood pellets, cooking wood pellets. Let me be specific. You can't put heat stove cheap wood pellets in there. They're not going to work. They have to be cooking grade pellets.
Yep.
Okay, that's lesson number one.
Pellets are the fuel source. Each different smoker will have a hopper that holds those pellets so that you can add in as much as you need for the various cooks that you have. All of the smokers have different sizes of hoppers. Some of them hold a ton, some of them barely hold any, but you will find a hopper on every single pellet grill, and they will all be covered because keeping your pellets dry is incredibly important.
And they're like Traegers, Camp Chefs, a lot of them are on the side right here. Rectex in the back here. Smoking Brothers in the front. They're all in different spots, but everyone has a hopper. And in that hopper, it funnels down to this piece of equipment called an auger, which is on a motor, which spins and pushes pellets through and into this beautiful thing we call the firebox, which has a little hot rod, right? So they come out, hit the hot rod on the startup, and then it's got a fan system that starts the fire, and boom, you're rolling. So in each one will also have some kind of control panel right here to where you can turn on, set the temperature, and let it fire up.
Yep. So gravity fed pellets fed through a tube into a fire pot. The fire pot is generally attached to a fan and it's all regulated by the temperature on the outside.
How many pellets are pushed in, how fast the fan's going, just to keep a specific temperature that you set.
Yep. So on every single brand of these pellet grills, the setup is basically the same. So now that we know what a pellet grill is and how it basically operates, I would love to talk about some strengths and weaknesses of the entire pellet grill category. So let's start with strengths. My favorite thing about pellet grills is their versatility. You can low and slow smoke. Most of them will go down to about 170, 180 degrees, which is perfect for hot smoking. We do that with salmon all of the time. 225 to 275 for that mid-range smoking. And then you get some really great like 350 for baking, and then up to 400 plus degrees for some high temperature grilling. Along with the versatility in temperature, the convection that happens with the fan really helps you treat these like an oven. So in addition to that low and slow smoking and grilling, that mid 350 range, we bake on our pellet smokers all the time. We'll do cookies, we'll do brownies, we'll do cheesecakes. I've always said if you can cook it in your oven inside, you can cook it outside on a pellet smoker, because the combination of setting the temperature on the thermometer and the fan that keeps the temperature even and rolling throughout, it really does create one of the most consistent cook temperatures of all the different types of smokers and grills out there.
Papa Murphy's Pizza.
Yeah.
Take and bake pizzas are amazing on these things.
So ease and temperature control are probably my two biggest strengths. What do you think?
I have a couple of strengths that I want to delve into, but I also would consider them weaknesses as well, and we'll explain more about that. So my first one is that these are all marketed as kind of a set it and forget it type thing. So I'd say my strength is that it's a semi set it and forget it. It's a live fire, guys. Don't set it and forget it. Like, check on it, okay? But I love that I don't have to tend the fire. I love tending the fire on a slow Saturday. There's nothing going on. That's a really good time. Trust me, I love that. A few drinks, bunch of snacks, watch some football on my outdoor TV. It's a great day. But I'm busy. I got lots of kids. I got stuff to do. I can just turn this thing on, set the temperature, throw a brisket on there, and not even look at it for 8 hours.
Yeah.
But that does lull you into a false sense of security about how easy that is. But Susie will get more into that in a bit. The other thing that's a strength / weakness for me is the flavor profile.
Yeah.
So you get a really light smoke flavor on here. So if you're used to charcoal or offset, burning that real wood fire, this is going to be a lighter flavor that it's a little bit different for me. And it was kind of a learning curve at first I'm like, I don't like this, but I'm like, oh no, it's just different. It's still really, really good.
Yeah.
It's just different than what you're used to.
These is actually compressed sawdust, basically. It's ground wood that's extruded through a tube. It's drier than you would find in a whole log if you're cooking on an offset. The way that pellet smokers work, the combustion and the fan, it produces a lighter smoke profile. It'll never be as heavy as burning whole wood. So like Todd said, if you like that stronger flavor profile, pellet smokers might be a little bit light-handed for you, so that could be a weakness. I like the lighter flavor profile of pellet smoke, so to me, that's a plus, right?
But
that's a strength.
It's good to have it in as one of your weapons, you know?
Yep, for sure. Let's roll that into a few more weaknesses of the pellet brand category overall. So lighter smoke flavor profile, again, that ease of use. A lot of these pellet brands, when they first started out, were pitching pellet smokers as like the easy bake oven or the crock pot. You turn it on, you let it go, you forget about it. And a lot of people did. And if you Google, like pellet smoker fires, you will find videos of people that just turned it on, stopped thinking about it. They experienced a flame out where the fire burning in the fire pot went out. And in an effort to keep the temperature up, the controller kept sending pellets into the fire pot thinking more pellets will bring the temperature up. However, the fire being out just meant that there was an overflow of pellets in the fire pot. People turned them off, turned them back on, ignited that whole pile of pellets and created fireballs. And all of that just comes from not only not knowing how the components of the pellet grill work and come together, but also just forgetting about it and not paying attention to it and not knowing that the fire went out. So one of the weaknesses is, people just forget that this is a live fire. So you can really combat that by just paying attention and knowing how it works. I don't think it's a failure of the category, more of just how it was marketed to people and how people used them.
So if your flame goes out, shut it down, open it up, clean out your fire pot, or if you're lucky enough to have a camp chef, you can just pull the lever, dump it, and then restart it.
Correct.
If you just restart it, you're going to have a combustion mini explosion on your hands, which is scary.
Yes. So I think that's a weakness that can be combated by education and experience, like we're doing right now. Yes. Another weakness I think of this category overall is it is all electric. So you do have to plug these in if you don't have any electrical on your back porch or your outdoor cooking space. You're going to have to figure out a way to rig some up because these are not off-the-grid cooking apparatuses.
Right. And
sorry.
If you are going to leave it for a while, like you need to go in and take a nap, you're cooking overnight, whatever.
It's really important to take naps.
Pull it away from your house, get it away from anything combustible because it is a live fire and at any point, any freak thing could happen and you don't want to, heaven forbid, hurt your house or anybody.
Better safe than sorry.
So I always, if I'm running overnight, pull it away from the house, set 2 or 3 alarms, make sure it's still running. The big thing is I don't want to harm my house. The second thing is I don't want to lose the hunk of meat by letting it sit without a fire for a long time.
So now that we've covered some of the weaknesses of the category, let's talk about the fun part, which I think is the differentiators between all of the pellet grills on the market. Now, we've cooked really beautiful briskets on $1,000+ smokers, and we've cooked really beautiful briskets on $250+ pellet smokers. So the components, like we said, operate the same. If you have good pellets, it's gonna operate really similarly. What I think the real price differentiator and everything else comes down to are the build quality and the accessories that each of them offer. So we're gonna do a quick overview of some of our favorites. This Camp Chef over here is a fun one. We use this one a lot. basic pellet smoker components, but it has a couple of extras that make it incredibly versatile in my opinion. It's got an added firebox on top of the firebox that you can pull out, add in wood chunks, you can add in charcoal. It gives you a different type of combustion, a different flavor profile. It really allows you to control the smoke flavor, and I think it offsets that weakness of having light smoke in the category. We've also got a gas-assisted sidekick over here. This allows us to do deep frying, things in cast iron skillets. We'll sear steaks over here in a skillet. We've boiled corn over here. Having this high temperature unit on the side, I think really makes this a versatile and complete, all-in-one backyard pellet smoker tool.
So the RecTech's cool. It's got this folding front shelf, which a lot of them, this one doesn't come with it because it has the firebox, but yeah, this is really well built. This is a bit of a higher price point, but in my opinion, it's worth it. I think the longevity in this RecTech is there.
When we talk about build quality, we're talking about the thicker gauges of steel. It holds temperatures better. It tends to last a little bit longer out in the elements, those types of things.
Our cooks have always gone really well on this.
The temperature consistency inside the chamber in here is phenomenal.
I think fire up is always super quick and easy with this. So
Yep.
This has been a really fun one.
And another thing that you're gonna pay for premium in the pellet grill category is where it's made. This Smokin' Brothers over here is a little bit higher in the price point, but this is an entirely American-made unit. So if that's something that's a high priority to you, there are options available on the market so you can have something completely made here in the United States with great build quality, all of those good things.
We've been to the factory where this is made and we're good friends with the owner.
Super cool. Another thing that I think has been a high priority in the pellet grill category is technology. It's really heavily marketed that they have apps and connectivity and Bluetooth and monitor your temperatures. That's not something that I'm concerned about paying extra for. It's not something that we use after a decade of doing this. I think it's a good assist as you're getting into the world of barbecue through the pellet smoker category, especially if you're a beginner. But I do believe you'll outgrow it rather quickly and you'll come to rely on other tools, monitoring it yourself, instead of always having to check an app.
We connected one of ours once and then we've never done it. We don't even have the apps. We don't have them connected to the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, so it might be important to you. It's not something that we are willing to pay extra for because it's not something that we utilize a ton.
Sometimes it won't work without an update, and if you open it Thanksgiving morning to cook your turkey and it needs to run a 2-hour update, I just avoid all that, so.
So yeah, build quality, accessories, those are kind of some of the fun differentiators in the category, but other than that, they're all built to operate in a really similar fashion. So when we get the question, which is one of our most common questions that we get, which is,
what pellet smoker do you recommend?
I just want to tell you, pick out your most important priorities. If you want to have a gas-assisted sidekick, if you want to be able to control the temperature, if you're really concerned about build quality, if you want something American-made, there is something on the market for you, likely in your price point, that will really deliver the results that you're looking for with all the little accessories that you're hoping to have. These are our 3 most commonly used in our backyard. They're ones that we come back to over and over again for backyard cooking. They've really given us a lot of durability and we're really happy with the brands themselves. So this is what we're using right now. But if you have a favorite pellet smoker, will you let us know in the comments section below? Or if there's something else you'd like us to see and try and teach you about, please tell us. We're here to help you make better barbecue so you can feed the people you love and become a
backyard barbecue hero.
Perfect. We'll see you guys next time.